So I'm getting ready to alter this pin cushion that I got from Bridget, B's Altered Designs, here on YouTube. And I just wanted to show you how nice hers turned out. These are those pin cushions from the tutorial here on YouTube from the DIY Dish Girls. I have this saved in my playlists, and I think it's under my sewing playlist if you want to look for that, because my playlists are open to the public. But anyway, I bought one from Bridget because mine turned out, yeah, it was horrible. It was a very bad effort on my part. Well, no, I'm not going to say effort. I did put a lot of effort into it. It's, again, because I'm not a sewer. Mine is just hideous. So let me show you. Currently, this is how mine turned out. It's already on a little, you know, candlestick. But, look at the difference. Now, mine is hunched. It's hard to tell because I have so many pins in it, but mine's like totally hunchbacked. There is no chest. I have a little bit of a waist, I guess. Again, it's kind of hard to tell because of the pins all in it, but I do kind of have a little waist. That's the only thing that went right with this. Everything else, especially the back, I mean, it's just straight. Look at Bridget's. I mean, look at the difference. Mine's huge, of course. I guess I was using myself as the image for putting that one together. Okay, I'll quit knocking myself. And look, her neck piece is even so much leaner and just nicer looking. I don't know what I did wrong. I cut the pattern out. But anyway, yeah, look at the difference. Her back, my back, the side view, and then of course, you know, the front. Although I guess she really doesn't have that much of a chest on hers compared to mine. It's more noticeable from the front, I think. But anyway, I just wanted to show before and after because I did make one of these, but I'm not as talented as Bridget when it comes to sewing. So there you go. So anyway, she also sent, at the time, I caught her in time where I was able to also get the birdcage that she had already altered somewhat with the sandy coarse sand texture, gesso, whatever. And she had already done that. I've already cut off the top of this because mine's gonna, you know, sit like this. So I'm getting ready to alter this so that I can finally just get rid of this one. It's horrible. And this is what's been sitting next to my sewing machine. So not very inspiring to look at, that's for sure. But it served its purpose as a pin cushion, that is for sure. So, and I doubt, because hers is smaller, I doubt I'll be able to fit all my pins back on there. I don't know, we'll see. So I'll be back after I get this done just to show you, just to do a share on what I did. Okay, bye. I'm just going to go over the top hat that I'm working on right now for my Dressform. And I cut out with my silhouette the 3D leprechaun and hat, this 3D leprechaun hat. And I ran this through the Sizzix Gears embossing folder. Love that folder. And now I'm taking the Brilliance pad in gold, Galaxy Gold, and I'm just going to hit those raised areas of my embossing up with ink here before I start to fold this and put it together. So if you have the Silhouette Portrait or Cameo, check out that leprechaun, 3D leprechaun hat, because it makes a really cool steampunk top hat. So I will be back after all this is put together to do my show and tell. Alright, see you in a few. Alright, here is my finished pin cushion. And I really think it's a marked improvement over the last one I made, which you've already seen. I even have this already filled with my pens, and this is where I keep it, next to my sewing machine. So it is gonna look much better sitting here than it did before, that's for sure. Okay, so what did I do? I sprayed the cage with some Lindy's Stamp Gang sprays and got a really nice grungy look to it. So I really like the way that turned out. I wanted this to stay like a I wanted it to, see, hello, I hit the record button on my camcorder, so of course I've lost command of the English language. I wanted it to be in a sewing / steampunk theme, so that is why I have all these gears kind of stuck around the external part of the cage. Those are all Friendly Design, and I have used, except for this one, that's a metal piece actually. And I have taken black gesso and gone over the top with the Tim Holtz Distress Paint in a metallic color. I think it's tarnished brass. And I did that throughout this piece actually, so same method, black gesso, distress paint on top, just dabbed with some of the black showing. And I lined the cage, the bottom of the bird cage, with that rolled moss that you get from Michael's. I cut a circle out of it and lined the bottom of the cage with that. And on the inside here, I did take Bridget's idea of using that Butterbee Scraps lock right there. And I just attached it to a jump ring on mine. Let me get this out of the way, because right now it's in the way. Whoops. Hold on, I know my camera's at a funky angle. Oh my gosh, hold on. I'm trying to do it left-handed. I am not left-handed. Why am I having a hard time tucking this in? Okay, sheesh. Alright, I was talking to myself there. It was my little inner dialogue. Well, I guess it was outer dialogue because I said it out loud. Okay, here we go. So you open it up, and on the inside is just, you know, quite a few sewing notions in there, like a Saw Crafter's scissors charm that I got from her because it's a pretty big one. Back there is a resin piece, sewing machine resin piece that I have actually attached. You can't see it, but it's attached to the bars here with some copper artistic wire. That's how that's stuck on there, by the way. And then in the back, behind that owl, is, let me see if I can get that there, is a spool, and I just put wound some lace trim around it, and then sprayed that with the same color of Lindy's spray as well. And then on top of it, you can't really see it very well, but there's like a little millinery flower with some pearls on it that I tucked in the center of that spool. And then I just kind of leaned it up against the back and glued it on there so that it'll stay, because this is going to be, you know, moved and picked up quite a bit because it is a working piece with my sewing pins all in it. If you, not like I sew, but I do. I'm just not a sewer. And then back there to the right is a little resin, Prima resin Dressform that I did that same black gesso and distress paint on. And then dangling from the top, you can see the eye hook, is that little owl charm. And I like the owl. I think that's like the honorary mascot for the steampunk theme. So, that's my little diorama there on the inside. Put this back down. And then, because I needed it to be actually exposed, a lot of this needed to be exposed because my sewing pins were going to be put in this thing. It's not really just for looks. I didn't go kooky crazy with the skirt for this because I wanted to be able to see the bottom birdcage first of all. And I did a low slung belt on top of this hip hugger little skirt. I just wrapped some lace around it and glued it down. And this is made out of grunge paper. And I embossed it with the Sizzix Gears folder, and then went over the top of that with Inka Gold. And I set a couple of violets in there for the belt buckle to go through, and this is a Butterbee Scraps belt buckle. And I have a little dangle here, a little key, my initial, and another pair of little smaller scissors right here, so, which I think goes really good with my sewing room theme. And then of course there's the body. I did put a little Prima flower here with a metal piece in the center. And you can see all my pins stuck in here. And the wings are Creative Embellishments. Black gesso with that distress paint on top, just dabbed. I wanted some of the black gesso to show through. I love Creative Embellishments die cuts, chipboard die cuts. They are so intricate and just beautiful. Here's the back side. I'm doing a back side overview here. There you go. And what I did is I just used a connector piece for the two wings there. That's a Butterbee Scraps piece that was originally copper, and I went over it with that tarnished brass distress paint. And my favorite part, the hat. Oh my gosh, that 3D leprechaun hat from My Silhouette. I love the way that turned out. Look at this. I did wrap a, oops, keep knocking into it. I did wrap a trim piece that's a black satin trim that I got from Hobby Lobby. I used that as the hat band for my hat here, and wrapped it around. And then right here is I did put like this little feather tucked into the hat band, and then going down is a metal gear that I Inka Gold. Then another gear, and then that clock is from My Fairy Treasures, Angie's store on Etsy. And down below that are Prima fabric flowers with another Tim Holtz gear in the center that I Inka Gold. But I love how that hat turned out. That just made this piece for me. I was like, oh, this is just the coolest hat ever. Especially to be my first kind of 3D art that I've ever made from scratch. Awesome. Love it. Okay, so anyway, that is my finished piece. I love how it turned out. Much nicer sitting there next to my sewing machine than what I had before. So I'm really incredibly happy with the way this turned out. Took me forever to do. I don't know why, because Bridget did half the work for me by having that dress form done and the base of the, you know, stand painted. Even though I did paint over it, but still, she did a lot of that, the texture work and everything for me already. So, but anyway, done. Let's call this one done. All right, you guys, I'll see you later.